Hi, this is Sarah, the Stitchin Mommy, and it's Monday, March 4th, back on track on a Monday, here for my stitching update. I posted a Fancy Lady Parade on Friday, so if you are interested in that, make sure you take a look at that. I have a couple administrative things to start out with. No haul this week, but I did get a notification that my Color and Cotton floss from February is on its way, so hopefully I can show you that next time. Actually I've had, I think, 3 people now ask for my Stargazer conversion, and I haven't put it all together yet as far as all the areas have not yet been stitched. Most of it is put together and I'm liking how it's looking, so hopefully in the next week or so I'll get a conversion posted to my blog. I have a color conversions blog. It's not a regularly updated blog, it's just something that if I have a color conversion, I'll post it there. And I have a couple up so far that have been previous finishes. So hopefully I'll get that one up there and you can see it there. It'll be linked below. The blog will be linked below. So hopefully I'll get that up soon and then you can see what I did. It's a little bit, I will probably have it broken up by section, like jacket, skirt ribbons, hair, things like that, because some of the symbols are used multiple places and I'm using different colors for the same symbol depending on where it is. So just take note of that. It's a little bit complicated. And somebody else had asked about my temperature garden piece, because I guess they hadn't seen my videos previously. I stitched this in 2017, I believe. I charted it in like the end of January, I think, in 2017, and so I stitched it that year, and a lot of you hopped on board that year, and then a whole bunch of you ordered it in 2018 and have been working on it this past year, and then even more of you now are working on it this year, along with my balloons and quilt that are available in my shop. But somebody wanted to see this up close. It is behind glass, so there's a little bit of a glare. This is my version of the temperature garden. It's the solid colored petals, 1/1 on 32 count. And this is where the temperatures from my hometown in Southern California. And I'm using the hot color key that goes, it went from like 48 to 110 or something like that. So these are over 110 flowers here. And I got somewhat low up here, but I don't believe I ever used the bottom 2 or 3 colors. And so when I created my hot temperatures for the quilt, or for the balloons actually, I didn't go below 50 because it never got below like high 40s. And so I took some of the lower temperatures off the balloons one because it wasn't worth it. So I'll put that back up later. But so that's my finish. And that's my design that you can find in my Etsy shop. And there's also a version now that has 2 colors within each petal, and you use the same symbol key, like you would still use the hot temperature symbol key for finding all of your temperatures, highs and lows, so that it works together. And that's how I made the mock-up design for that high and low pattern, was the use the same temperature symbol key for both temperatures. And same with the quilt. You use one temperature for everything, or one temperature symbol guide for everything. Hopefully I'm not totally mocking that up. My cat's distracting me. Another comment I had was to ask about my needle minders, and I'm starting to get a little bit better in remembering to tell you about my fabric, but I do often not tell you about my needle minders. So I've recently, I guess in the past year, have enjoyed needle minders. Shelly Key X Stitch was my first enabler. She gave me a needle minder to go with our Frosted Pumpkin National Parks stitch along that we were both working on. She gave me this one, so that was my first needle minder, and I love this one. It's a lightweight wooden one. So all of the Frosted Pumpkin ones are probably this quality, and they're really cute, really nice. Perfect for stitching in hand. I didn't jump on the bandwagon as soon as I had heard about them because I figured I stitch in hand, they're going to be heavy and they'll weigh down my fabric, but I found, especially since that was my first one, it was light. That needle minder was really light, so it was actually, didn't weigh down my fabric. As long as I keep it, I have the roll in my left hand, and as long as I keep it kind of behind my hand and I'm stitching on this side in front of my hand, it works fine. It doesn't interfere with my stitching at all. And so I just need to make sure they're not super heavy. So some needle minders that I see that are like the clay polymer ones, I think those would be too heavy for me. But I'll look for lightweight ones, and they work really nice. I use them just to park my needle. So it's a quick little, just tap it on there and it stays, instead of weaving it through your fabric to park it. Some people use needle minders to hold their patterns and hold their parked threads. There's a variety of uses for it. If I can remember, I will try to show you on my pieces. A lot of them I made recently were just from buttons that I found at Joann's that were little wooden buttons, and I made some out of my buttons that I received from my husband's grandmother, so they're like antique buttons. I bought like maybe seven or eight needle minders from No Name Needle Minders. I won a gift certificate from them, and so I ordered a few and then a few more, so I actually purchased a few as well, just while I was ordering at the same time. So I got some from them. They're on Facebook. I ordered one from Joyful Expressions with a Bible verse on it, and I've received a few as gifts. So in general, I'm not like a crazy needle minder addict, and I have plenty now. I'm good. So if I can remember to tell you what they are, I will try to remember to do that. So now let's get into what we're talking about. When I last spoke, I was going to work on my letter H fairy. I'll just show you in here. This is for my niece. It will be gifted to her for her high school graduation, which will be next June. So not the June coming up, but June 2020. So I have plenty of time to finish this. What I'm doing is I'm working on them once a month on the day of the girl's birthday. Whenever that date comes up every month. Whenever I finish it, I'll just plug in the next girl on her birthday and keep rolling with it, because they're going to come up eventually. I'd rather have them done ahead of time than be scrambling at the last minute, which is what I often do with gifts. So it'll be nice to have some done ahead of time. This is what she looked like before. And I didn't get a whole lot of time on her, so this is where she is now. I was hoping to get more done, but I just was able to finish the string of Old Salem Spell that I had on my needle. So I finished coming over here, and then I jumped up and kind of worked my way down here until the thread was over, and that's really all I had time for. So that was a little disappointing, but it's coming out again next month. I realized I do have more beading up here, and then there's more of these leaves that I could work on, as well as backstitching her skin now. So there's a few more things at the top half that I will... Oh yeah, and the rest of her wing. That's the main thing that I realized I hadn't done yet. This is the part of her wing that overlaps the letter, but the rest of her wing is still here and a little bit out here. So I still need to do that too with more blending filament. So that will be coming back out next month. And then I worked on Midsummer Roses, which is my oldest whip by Paula Vaughn. My kitty's going to be Vanna White. This, I think I worked on it a tiny bit before my last video, and then I had 2 more days that I was planning to work on it at the end of February. And I was hoping to get the last of the light pink finished in the roses, and I had mentioned that it would be even nicer if I could get more than that, like finish the light pink and go on to another color. Well, the 2 days passed, and I just managed to finish that light pink, which was a little discouraging. I really wanted to do more, but I figured, well, at least I finished the light pink. That's good enough. And then Friday rolls around, and I was planning to work on Touchdown, or not, Simpsons for my husband because it was the 1st of March. And he ended up working from home that day. So kind of blew all my plans out of the water. I was planning to film my finish parade, not my finish parade, my fancy lady parade. It's nice to have him home, but it messes up filming and stitching sometimes. So since I'm working on a secret project for him, I couldn't work on that during the day. Sometimes I can get it out when he's home, but he kept wandering around and talking, and I was just like, I can't get this thing out. He's going to see it. So I managed to film my video. I just closed the study door in case he had a phone call, and I filmed my video for the fancy ladies, got that done, but I wasn't able to stitch on his piece. So I didn't get any of that done. But I figured, well, I can't work on that. Let's work on my roses piece again and at least do one more thing to feel like I accomplished a little bit more. So I decided to work on this water pump right here. Managed to get that completely finished on Friday and moved on to the dark red, the dark pink flowers a little bit more. And then worked on Touchdown for my son on Saturday, and then Sunday I figured I was supposed to work on Waterfall and Yosemite. I'm like, I'm just going to finish these flowers. There's not as many of the dark pink as there were the light pink, so yesterday I finished the dark pink flowers. And technically this morning. There were like 3 stitches left, and so I finished those this morning. So this is what this looked like before. And here it is now. So much happier. I really, really, really started to enjoy working on this, where it was more important than my games on my phone, and I am loving that it's finally filling in. I think because there were so many pink flowers and they were all spread out, it just kind of ended up taking forever, and 14 count uses thread quicker, so I was needing to refresh my thread faster than I'm used to, which was a little bit of an extra time expense. So now that I'm getting now that I got to this went really fast, and then I did these darker flowers, and those went fairly quickly. 3 colors, in each color of flower has 3 different colors in the stitching. So next up is the leaves, and I think I'll fill in all the leaves and then do the background so I can know exactly where the background's going to go and just fill that in and then start back stitching. And I'm really excited about this now. It wasn't really calling to me as much as it should, and whenever it came out I'd always find excuses to do something else, but now I think I'm finally enjoying it. So I figured I need to, especially yesterday, instead of picking up Waterfall, I need to just work on this while I'm feeling it, because it's been so long since I have felt like working on it. I needed to take advantage of that and just plow through. So I have 6 more days to work on Waterfall scheduled out. So I got to a good stopping point with finishing these darker flowers. So what I'm thinking I might do is I'm going to go to Waterfall today and finish that first page that's got like a partial column and another skinny column until the page finish. It shouldn't take that long, theoretically. Finish the page and then come back to this for the rest of the Waterfall rotation. Instead of moving on to a Golden Kite piece this month, I'm going to work on this instead. And next month, my Waterfall rotation my Golden Kite rotation next month will be a new Golden Kite, probably Knitting Woman. I'm just really feeling like variety, and I think it's because I've had so many months in a row of the same pieces, because my goals haven't been met the first time, that I'm kind of itching for variety. And I've seen all of you working in the Magical Stitches and Literature group, which sounds really fun, but is not really meeting my stitching goals right now, because I'm trying to focus on things. And so jumping around and taking time to pick whips and count stitches isn't really where I'm at right now, as much fun as it sounds. And I don't have any affinity for Harry Potter. Sorry. Never read the books, never saw the movies. in general, it sounds really fun though. So maybe later in the month or next year, I'll hop onto something like that and try to do that to get more variety. But for now, I'm really enjoying focusing on stuff and getting some finishes. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this aside for a few days, finish that page on Waterfall and Yosemite, get that done off my back, and then come back to this on probably the 8th, because there's like 3 days on Waterfall, and then I'll do my S Ferry for a day, and then I'll have another 3 days. So I'm guessing I might take the first 3 days to finish the page, and then do another 3 days on this, and I'll still have a 3-day rotation at the end of March to work on this too. So it should get 6 more days in March, which hopefully will finish. That will help me finish at least the leaves. There's a lot of leaves. So that'll be fun. I'm really happy that one's coming along, and I'm in love with it again. So, oh, this is the needle minder I made using a button in my stash that was just a little plastic butterfly using some E6000, I think is what it's called. It's like an acid-free, really strong glue and rare earth magnets you can find either at Home Depot in small quantities or online. There's various magnet companies. I can't remember the name of the place I bought my magnets from. I had a recommendation from Heather, the Imperfectly Perfect Stitcher. She sells needle minders, and she gave me the name of the company she uses. And I bought like 100 of them from them. So I'll link their shop below. I don't remember their name, if you're interested in getting more bulk order of magnets. But that was one I made from a button in my stash. And that's 14 count antique white Ada, my 23-year-old oldest whip. Hopefully will be finished in the next few months. I also worked on Touchdown for my son on the 2nd. And I got a little bit of, decent progress on this one. I felt like I wish I could have had more time, but when he saw how much I did, he's like, wow, that's really coming along. I like how much you've done, so that's a good thing, as long as he likes it. So this is what that looked like before, and here's where I got to. I was coming around here, did some more white, and I realized I had a gap in his collar of a color that I had not finished. So then I just thought, you know what, it'll be more fun than stitching white. I finished out a thread or two in white, and then I finished his collar, and then worked on his number. Got this, there's a number on his sleeve over here. Got that started as well. So next time, the number is finished stitching, and I had recharted this number. The original one is 80, and so now it says 24, because this is meant to be Charles Woodson, and he was number 24 when he played on the Raiders. I think he was also a Packer in his career, but he played, I needed a defensive player who would have played opposite John Elway. So I chose the year, one of the years the Broncos won the Super Bowl with Elway, and he was on the Raiders team, and he was, I think, the only defensive player my son recognized on the Raiders defense of that era. So that's who he is. This is Charles Woodson. So next time I'll come in. I didn't get any backstitching done because I focused on the letters. Next time I will probably work more on this number and the stripe that's right here, just to get the rest of those colors finished, because his pants will be gray, I believe, like the helmet, not this black color. So I'll finish the number and the stripe over here, and then there's some accent shading in the jersey that will then let me backstitch the helmet. So I'm not sure how much I'll be able to get done, but that's kind of the direction I'll be headed. Oh, and this stripe is now finished too. So that's that. This is on 28 count even weave in light blue by MCG Textiles. Used to be sold at Hobby Lobby, no longer available there. And this needle minder is from No Name Needle Minders. It's on a little Scrabble tile. One of the smallest sizes they sell, little butterfly. So I like their needle minders too. They turned out, I made sure to get the light ones, because even though they're wooden, I still didn't want something really big. So they have a lot of sizes available and a lot of options. Oh my goodness, it took me so long to sift through and pick out exactly which ones I wanted, because she has a lot of options. So that was one I chose that was a nice small size. And let's see. So then, yeah, I didn't pick up Waterfall, but I will be picking Waterfall up today. So let's go ahead and show you that while I'm talking about it. So this is Waterfall in Yosemite by Golden Kite, and I did remember to get it out. I forgot to bring it last week. So this is where it's at right now. And I will try to finish this page in the next few days. So it's like right here. So I just need to fill this part in and this part and however far it extends into the next area, because that's how I'm stitching, I'm feathering. And so that's that one. So I will get this page finished and then move on. I really appreciate everyone's opinions on this. I had pretty much an even split between people saying, finish the page, you don't want to get burnt out, move on to something else after you finish a page. And then there were other people that said, just finish the whole top row, you'll be glad you did. I don't know. I think I'm craving variety a little bit more than the need to finish that one. So that one is kind of plagued with regularly feeling like I should work on it, wanting to work on it, not wanting to work on it, tired of it. My feelings about that one fluctuate all the time. So I think I will currently finish the page. Part of me thinks I'll finish the page, do another Golden Kite page finish, come back to Waterfall, finish a page, do another Golden Kite finish, come back to Waterfall, and alternate so I can continue to somewhat focus on it. But then another part of me says, just finish a page and be done and work on the other 8 Golden Kites that you have and throughout the rest of the year. So we'll see. We'll see when I finish a page finish on another Golden Kite how I feel. If I want to come back to this for a little bit and before going to a third Golden Kite choice, or just moving straight into that third choice. So we'll kind of have to wait and see on that one. I want to stitch what I love this year, and not feel obligated or forced to work on things. So as much as I'm feeling certain projects I really want to finish, I'm really feeling the pull to finish certain things, and other things I'm kind of like, I'm okay. So it just kind of depends on what it is. The next thing I have down is the S Fairy on the 7th, which is a Thursday. This is my fairy. They're all in here. I usually have these in the back, but so this is S Fairy by Nora Corbett. This one was the one that kind of started it all. I got the pattern from, and maybe the beads too, from my mother-in-law, I think for my birthday or Christmas or something a few years ago. And for me, this one is for me. And then when my daughter was graduating preschool last year, and my mother-in-law usually buys graduation gifts and things for all of the graduations, not just high school, preschool, 6th grade, 8th grade, all of that. And that made me think, I wonder, my nieces would probably enjoy these. And so that's what kind of made me think of that could be something to stitch for them that would be timeless, as they would appreciate it as an 18-year-old, and they would also appreciate it as an adult. So this one will be mine, but I also have a niece who is the letter S also, so I'll be stitching this a second time for her down the line. She's not for a while. She's one of the younger ones. And I'll probably change the colors a little bit just to change it up. But this one is for me. So this is where this is right now. This is on Color and Cotton. I don't know if I showed you. This needle minder is a vintage button from my grandmother, my husband's grandmother, and this is 18 count Ada, antique white Ada, I believe. And this is Color and Cotton, 32 count Lugana in rosewater. And this is a needle minder I made from a wooden button at Joann's, but I actually saw these at Walmart too. So these buttons are, there were 2 in the package. Some of them looked like this, and some of them had more roses on them. And I saw a package of them at Walmart too. So they're at Walmart and at Joann's. And I made those. And so this is where S Fairy is now. The top half is mostly finished. So I'm going to work on this part of the S so that I can finish backstitching her wing and get these, there's this tendril with beads right here. So hopefully I can get, you know, some of that finished this coming Thursday. And then I will move on to Midsummer Roses again, whenever that page finish gets done. So that should be what I'll work on this coming week. Hopefully get a page finish on Waterfall and then work on my S Fairy, and the rest of the time I'll work on the roses. So that'll be fun. See how far I can get on that. And then the whole rotation time will be done on Sunday. So by the time I see you again next Monday, it'll be time for my quick stitch iris. So I'll just wait and show you that then. I've also been working on my travel piece of July by the Little House Needleworks. I didn't quite get this done. I didn't end up having any time to stitch in the car on Sunday like I sometimes do. So, but I got close. This is where it was before, and here it is now. I got the table finished and the solid border finished. There's also a pink, like, zigzaggy border that I have not yet started. So that's the next thing to do. So hopefully that won't take too long. And this is where I'm a little, I'm curious what I want to do. I do want to move on to August. I think August is really pretty. I want to work on that one. But I'm also considering working on Adventure Awaits in the car to help get that finished. I'm also considering working on Hoot for my daughter's kindergarten teacher in the car to make sure that one can get finished in time. So we'll see. I have a 3-day rotation on Adventure Awaits next week. So we'll see. Because if I start August, I'm going to want to work on it till it's done. So when July is finished, I'll have to evaluate what I'm thinking. Adventure Awaits would be a good one. I guess both of them have all the flosses. Because Hoot, I kitted up with Fancy Floss and just put all the bobbins in the bag. So that one's actually kitted up too. Because both of them would be easy to just throw in the bag and work on. We'll see. Part of me is thinking of doing that as well because I did not work on Adventure Awaits at all this week because I've been behind on my temperature quilt. And so whenever I have a little bit of home stitching, I've been working on that, which hasn't been that much. But that's what I've been trying to get caught up on. So I did not work on my Adventure Awaits at all this past week, which makes me feel like I should maybe give it some car time. And in addition to those 3 days next week of regular stitching to try to get that finished this month. That would be, that might be what I'll do because I want that done. So this is I have a new system. I just started my temperature pieces. I'll show you my quilt first. It's not caught up. This is my temperature quilt, and they have, each block has a high and a low, so that could be why it's taking me a little bit longer, and the sashing takes some time to fill in. So that one, this one is a little bit more time intensive than the balloons one. But it is still cute. So this is what that looked like before. And here it is now. I have the sashing done all the way down to as far as it needs to be for the 28th of February. And then I put some in here too because March is here. You know, I have to start working on that. So I started to fill in some of these highs and then just ran out of time. And I was more interested in working on my Paula Vaughn. So that's what I did. So today, I believe, is another quilt day. So hopefully I'll get a few more blocks finished up in here. And maybe I'll get it caught up before I see you next. That would be nice. What I've decided to do so that it is more conducive as a home travel piece, because I have my temperatures written down on my one of the pictures that I printed out. So but I don't want to have to take like a handful of bobbins with me upstairs. So I blew up the kit, blew up the key and on cardstock and hole punched it. And so I started with a few of these that are, this is the balloons one. So this is the quilt one. So I started with the few that are needed right now, plus whatever was in the middle, and I'll add to these as I need them. I haven't needed to go any higher than this so far. So then I can just grab the bag with my patterns and my floss and, you know, and my fabric, and then I can run upstairs and work on this a little bit more easily. So that's kind of the plan, and hopefully it'll work pretty well. My other one is the balloons, and this one is caught up. The first balloon is all finished. This is what this looked like before, and here it is now. So this turned out pretty cute. Mostly blues and purples in the January and February, which is nice, except for this little hot patch of green, which got it into the 70s, and the rest of it was 50s and 60s. So that was a nice, cool balloon. When I charted this, I made it purposefully by seasons, so that hopefully each balloon would have a little bit different flavor. Like these two might be similar. This is spring, this is fall, this is summer, so you can tell it's the hot one. And then these two are like winter, at least in the northern hemisphere, and then it would be opposite for the southern hemisphere. But that each balloon might have its own look because of the color combinations would be similar for the different seasons. So that's a nice winter balloon for Southern California. And again, I'm using the hot temperature range for all of my things. I have regularly made a custom temperature charts for people who need it hotter, colder, more extreme, etc. So that's been something I also do. I try to have a nice variety of charts available in the pack you get when you buy it, but occasionally people live somewhere where it's out of the norm enough that they need something special. So those are that's those ones. And so the last thing I wanted to talk about is I'm slowly getting caught up on Flosstube. I'm only about 2 weeks behind. I'm about Valentine's Day is where I am right now in my watching. However, when new things come in onto my subscription list, I still take a look at them, and I hide the videos that I'm not planning to watch, like if they're in a foreign language, or currently Stitch With Me's I'm not watching, you know, things like that. If I'm just gonna know I'm not gonna watch it, I'll hide it, because I had gotten to the point where when I was like a month behind, when things were falling off the bottom of my list because I had so many on the list. So when I started hiding the ones I knew going into it I wasn't going to watch, it helped things stay on the list so I didn't lose them. So I do take a look at them as they come through, and I noticed that Ginger Gerald Designs posted a video yesterday or the day before about a large cross-stitch finish competition. And so I had to go take a look at that. So what he's doing is, I think since he posted that video and until he finishes his Henry VIII Heaven and Earth designs, which he's guessing will take him into June. So from like let's just say it was Saturday. I don't remember exactly what day he posted, but if he posted on Saturday, from Saturday until whenever he finishes Henry, there will be a competition where you can email him your finish of a large cross-stitch project and be entered into a competition. So almost all of my projects are qualify for this. It's 100 by 100 or larger, and so as far as your stitch count, which almost all of my pieces would fall into that category. The little monthly pieces that I'm doing are smaller than that, but that's kind of the abnormal size for my style. So I have quite a few that are like nearing the finish line. So I'm like, hey, that'll be really fun. It'll just be, if I can remember to email him when I finish, you know, I'm planning to enter. So I'm thinking Midsummer Roses can make the cut, and Adventure Awaits will make the cut. And I have Furry Animals freebie is really close. It's 125 by 81. So the height is smaller than 100, but if you add up like all the stitches, it's more than 10,000, which 10,000 is 100 by 100. So technically it might count. I sent him a comment and haven't heard back yet. So that one might be able to count too, because I'm hoping that will be done in the next couple months too. So if you have large projects and you're interested in that and you watch Ginger Gerald, head over there and see if that's something that you want to do. Just kind of as a motivation for us to finish things. And I've already been motivated to finish a few things, so that's kind of a fun thing that I can do because it fits my plans already. So I thought I would leave you with that. I don't think there's anything else, and hopefully I will get the stitching done that I would like to do. Oh yeah, diamond painting. I did a tiny bit with my son early in the week. Not enough to finish a column, just a couple colors before he scampered off and got distracted by something else. So I won't show that unless I have at least another column finished to show you. So only got a little bit of time this week, but that's that. In the meantime, I hope you enjoy your stitching this week and enjoy the weather if it's nice where you are. And happy stitching. Bye.